I'm working on a lady in red pencil sketch drawing here. I've got all these colors here. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use. I just separated out all my... I should have taken a picture of them first. Oh, shucks, I forgot. But I do have brown in here, too. So I'm going to start off here and see. I'm hoping I can get her done here and not make it too... Well, let's see. Let me start a little bit of a chin right here. Okay, yeah, looks kind of bad right now, but I don't know. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, so we've got... Okay, I need to leave myself enough room here, for crying out loud. I know she looks pretty bad right now. Yeah, she looks pretty bad right now. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here and work on her face. I want to go back up here. And let's see. I'm just doing this lightly right here because I don't want all the pencil to show in. And so I'm just getting started here. So she looks really, she does look pretty rough right now. But I'm going to color in some of the... I do have my chat screen on if anybody has any questions or anything they want to ask or chit chat about, but right now I'm just working on... Oh my goodness, we gave her... I'm not too fond of that right there. What did we do right there? Oh my gosh, my pencil just got a mind of its own. Oh no, this isn't good. Okay, so we're gonna have to make do. Okay. Let's do a little bit of different red in here. Now all of her is going to be red. We're just making the whole woman red. I hope she looks good. I mean, I'm not doing so hot right now. Okay, let's see if we can't. That looks a little bit better than what I had going on. Well, hello. Hang on, guys. I need to... I've got my chat screen here. Hang on a second. Let me get over to my chat screen. Let me see here. Okay, I had to mute it too. Oh, wait, thank you, Sky Moon. Thank you so much. I enjoy making drawings. Well, hello, Andy May. Thank you so much for coming by. I love drawing. Um, yeah, I totally love drawing, and it's a lot of fun. And so I'm just using a bunch of different color pencils here. Um, I could do it just in now. My drawings are always quite a bit different from because sometimes I find a drawing to look at, and my drawings are always completely different from a drawing that I'm looking at. And so I've had discussions with people about the drawing thing, and so for me it's best just to do my drawings and do my drawings. Gemini actually helps out quite a bit too. I do get some of them, actually a big majority of them I get from Gemini, from the Google Gemini. And oh my gosh, that looks pretty good. She's looking a lot better than what she was. Even with that little mistake that I made, she's looking a whole lot better. Oh, I like that. I should have put beautiful because she is beautiful. I need to work a little bit on the nose. Let's do this. This probably will work a little bit like this, like that. And then we've got a little bit of shading here, just not too much. We don't have to go overboard. And then just a little, she's got a really tiny nose, but now I know it looks like a little bit like a piglet, but we're just gonna have to make it work like that. And so we've got, I don't have a whole lot of room to work with. So her lips might be a little bit crooked. It's not too bad. Not too bad. The lips are a little bit crooked, but she looks pretty good though, actually. A lot better than I thought she was going to be. And so we're going to get some of her hair done in here like this. Oh, that looks pretty darn good though, actually. So I'm going to take a little bit and we're going to outline her with, we're going to outline like this. And okay, so I've got kind of a little bit like that, and okay, so we've got a little bit of shading, around here, a little bit of shading. We've got a lace dress. I'm not sure how I'm gonna end up doing the lace dress yet. She has a little bit of a pouty, sort of a pouty look on her face. I joined because you had one person on your life. I hate when that happens, so of course I joined. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I had one person on my life, Andy May. What? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, because I only have one person on my live stream. Yeah, that's just me. I'm just here by myself. I don't have anybody else to have on my live streams. And right now, with the way things are with the heated tensions of of discussions and things, I'm, this, I would have discussions with someone if, as long as they didn't get heated, I mean, I'm not even sure what the right word is. Like gaslighting, like the things that they do on some of those TV stations. You probably know what I'm talking about. I have a feeling a lot of you may, some of you may not, you know, because I know people have their different things that they do in their life, and everybody may not know what I'm talking about. I know a lot of people don't. They have no idea what I'm talking about, and I get that. I totally do. Okay, so her hand is going down like kind of like that. And she's got a bag in her hand. I'm not so sure that I want to draw it, though. Really not so sure that I want to draw it. Okay, but what I want to do is... oh my gosh, I really like how she looks. Oh my goodness. I'm really happy with how she looks. You know, I mean, it's not perfect, but, you know, we can see she's a woman, and we can see that, oh my goodness sakes. I surprise myself every time, and I know I say that every time, that I surprise myself every time. Let's add a little bit. I wanted to add a little bit darker hues in here. A little bit darker. Oh my goodness. We have got ourselves a glamorous, beautiful fashion model going on here. And, okay, so now I also need to kind of depict her collarbones a little bit. Let's see if we can do that. Yep, that worked. That actually works. It doesn't take much. My goodness. Okay. We got a little combination. I mean, she is red, but I know it looks pink on camera, but she is red, and we're going to be getting some red in here with the dress here soon. I'm not so sure that I want the bright red. This is going to be too bright. Well, or is it? Let's see. No, not really. It's all coming across as pink for some reason. I don't know why. It just is. It is looking pink, but that's okay. Oh, goodness. Oh, we'll be getting a little bit. But really, this is the color that... How am I going to do this? Because we got some lacy things going on here like this. It's kind of a mishmash of lace. And so it's not something that I'm going to have to put a whole lot of time into, because it's a mishmash of, you know, lace kind of crossing over like this. And I want to depict the lace here like this. And, oh, that's turning out pretty nice. Oh, my goodness sakes. Okay, let's get... okay. Oh, now I gotta put just a tiny bit of shadowing down here, and this kind of depicts her bosoms here a little bit. It's gonna kind of just enhance, give it a little shadowing to depict. Then you know, the great thing about this is calling her the lady in red. You know, oh, thank you so much, Cassandra G. Thank you. I missed your first message. You retracted it. Thank you so much. I do that too sometimes, like when I make an error. Sometimes I retract messages. But I have a sticky key right now. I'm having some problems with my... Okay. The thing I like about calling it you know, the lady in red, I'll tell you, I have a reason behind the lady in red, because the lady in red is evergreen. It's an evergreen terminology for a woman, the lady in red. And so it becomes an evergreen terminology in the sense of, I know there's a song called The Lady in Red, you know, The Lady in Red. is dancing cheek to cheek with nobody here. There might be more of them, just you and me. And, you know, so it becomes an evergreen terminology of words, though. Because who is the lady in red when you think about it? Who and what is the lady in red? And so I've been making a case for words as word, you know, as word collaborations and things that are evergreen that everyone can participate in, where nobody owns the set of words. And see, I learned this actually from YouTube itself, being on YouTube and, you know, teaching things, and then realizing it's like, well, wait a minute, this whole thing is completely rigged against us if we try to follow suit with something that is against us. But if we follow suit with an evergreen terminology, and that's something I always used when I was teaching crochet, because I made the point and said, well, you know, crochet is evergreen. You know, people do it, but it's also a small niche. More people like to draw, though. More people will draw, probably, than will um, crochet. And so I thought, my gosh, I'm in the wrong niche. And, you know, but I mean, that doesn't mean I can't do it. It's just that, you know, I needed to go to a different niche. And so drawing is something that I really enjoy doing. Um, let's see here. And so, but she does look completely different from the drawing I'm looking at. She does look completely different, but she's turning out pretty good, though. Um, and so I almost don't want to do this part yet, because this is sort of the fun part. It's kind of like the doodling a little bit and creating all these little lacy designs and effects across here. And, you know, some of them are a little bit thicker like that. You know how lace is? And it just creates a really, we'll make that one a little thick like that. And then, like, you know, kind of here is kind of something that's a little bit lacy like that. And it doesn't have to be filled in a whole lot. There's kind of like a lacy part right there. I want to make this a little bit darker like that. Okay, now this part's going to be kind of fun down here too. I think I might add a little bit more, but in just a little bit, but not quite yet. Okay, so I should switch up my pencil to another color. Let's see. Yeah, these two look pretty close together, so but let's switch it up a little bit. Okay, so let's oh, perfect. Oh my goodness sakes. I get so excited when things turn out and they look like I envisioned. Okay, so now we got a little bit more. We've got, oh, I only have 2 layers, not 1. Oh, well, let's throw you down here like that. So we've got a roughly. Okay, so we've got, okay, let's go back here. Okay, where's my other pencil that I was using? And add a little bit of you right in here. And okay, so let's get part of her leg going down that direction, and we'll depict another. Hopefully that depicts the, yeah, that's good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, what color am I working with here? Okay. Gosh, that's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Um, okay. I like that I can get them done pretty fast too. And see, I'm not making, see my fingers, they look kind of funky, but I think that's part of the, I mean, it's a cross between a human element and, it's just a cross between the two of them, between a human element and a satire, so the fingers don't have to be perfect to look human. Um, cartoonish works. Um, and I'm just trying to cover up some of the pencil now, but the lace, I'm wondering, let's not overdo it. Let's remember not overdo it too much, where we got less is more. Less is more. Remember that. Less is more. That is really pretty. A really pretty lacy dress there. And she does have that pouty look. She really does have that big pouty fashion model look, more so than the woman that I'm looking at on the screen. Um, I kind of wanted to darken the eyebrows up a little bit here. And try to get rid of some of the, yeah, that looks pretty good. Get a little bit more highlights in here. I wanted to throw in a tiny bit of brown, not a whole lot, just a tiny bit of brown. I'm going to cover it up though with some red. Okay. I got to round up her face right here though. We got to round, yeah, that's better. Round up the face. I like that. Like it, like it, like it. Alrighty. Okay, and let's see here. I just want to darken up some of these lines just a little bit. Enhance them a little bit like that. Enhance. Let's see here. And what I'm going to take a little bit of, just kind of cross hatching a little bit here between these lines. It's just like doodling. Just cross hatching and doodling a little bit. And that's all this is really doodling. It really is. That's all it is. Oh my gosh, she's so lovely. And I don't have room. She does have some things behind her. Her arms kind of look like a WWE wrestler there. I'm hoping this looks like a handbag because it is a little handbag here. I'm hoping that that's kind of what it looks like, as a handbag, but I'm not quite sure yet. We do have a thumb right here, but with all the colors, it's all kind of blended in a little bit. I was going to take and see if I could, let me see if I can use this color to enhance a little. And oh, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good like that. I'll add a little bit to her legs down here, a little bit of red. That looks pretty good. And oh, let's do a little bit of shadowing down here below her neck. Yeah, a little bit of shadowing is what we need. Oh, I like that. Ooh, she is beautiful. She is beautiful, beautiful. Let me see if I can't move this back a little bit. And then I can maybe get her in at an angle like this. Let's see if we can't. There. That's a little bit better. Then we can see a little bit more of her. She is so beautiful. She's got on her little kind of, what would I call it? A fish, almost like I call it fishtail dress, sort of. Yeah, fishtail dress, maybe. Something like that. And we'll enhance a little bit with this color. So we've got a bunch of shades of red going on. And I've actually seen women put blush on their neck. Um, I don't know if they were being silly or what, but I've seen them put blush in a lot of different places. I would never imagine that they put blush, but they do. So um, I mean, if you remember Grandma's blush, yeah, I'm really surprised I don't that nobody ever came up with a makeup called Grandma's blush, because Grandma sometimes she could lay the blush on thick. Grandma loved blush, didn't she? If you guys remember what I'm talking about, I think some of you probably do. Remember back in the day, Grandma putting on the blush really, really thick. And everybody did. That was, I don't know if it was the thing that makeup was just so new for everybody or what was going on. Um, I almost think I like her just like that. I mean, she does have some cocktail tables behind her. Well, it looks not, well, I wouldn't say cocktail tables. I'm just going to say evening attire tables. And I don't know, she might be in a ballroom maybe somewhere. And there's like a mirror and a serving table. So it looks like a really elegant type of design, an elegant type of setting where she's at. Very elegant. And so I like to go towards names that are evergreen, so that's why I've been changing what I do, and so I called her the Lady in Red. And I mean, we can what's funny though, I've listened to, I think it was some celebrities on one of the morning shows recently, and they said they were complaining about the internet, and they said they found it so odd that because on the internet, when they went on the internet, there was always all these ladies in green. And they said there was a whole bunch of different ladies in green all over the place. Now, I've noticed that too, my own self, that I have some videos that are AI videos that I've made. And a whole bunch of them are women in green and women coming off of the Navy ship. And they're all in green. I have one of them that's parasailing. Um, she's like on a parachute or something in an evening gown. And she's going from the ship to another boat or something like that. And I couldn't figure out, it's like, what is this with all these women wearing green evening gown dresses? And it is. I mean, I agreed, it's like what I was listening to what they were saying. It's like, I don't know what it is about the green dresses, but there's something about the green velvet dresses. One of the things that I remembered, I think I said that at the, this is a story I can actually share. At the Y2K, this is kind of a funny story. Y2K, um, so there was a night, I didn't have anybody to hang out with, so I decided to go to the local club for Y2K for New Year's. I didn't have any family or anybody to hang out with, and my son was with his dad at that time. So I went to Walmart and I got me a inexpensive velvet green dress for like 20 bucks. It was one of those kind of stretchy dresses. It was kind of funny though when I remember about it, because there was other people that had the green dresses too. I just thought it was funny. There were a lot of people, women were wearing green velvety dresses. Now, I don't know if it was because Walmart, that had to be why. I really do. I think that had to be why, because we were by, our only store was Walmart, and Walmart had a, right, I still think $20 right now is still pretty darn expensive, but for a velvety dress that was kind of stretchy, it was really pretty though, too. A green velvety dress for New Year's, for bringing in the new year of 2000, the turn of the century. So I remember going, hanging out with a couple of my friends, and we just had a grand old time sitting there, bringing in the new year. And none of us had dates or anything like that. And we just hung out together and brought in the new year. That's pretty much all I remember about it, too. So I was by myself at that time. I wasn't with anybody. I wasn't dating anybody. And I was just by myself. So, but the green dress, the green dress is something that I remember, so that was kind of like a fun thing for me, but by then though, by that time, I was getting bored of going to the nightclub. So it didn't take me very long to get bored. It took me about a year going to nightclubs. I got bored pretty fast because it was boring. So that wasn't something that lasted very long. I thought maybe I wanted to go to nightclubs, but it's just one of those things that's, anybody who's done the nightclub scene knows that it's a dead end. And unless you just have friends that you go hang out with, it's just a dead end. I don't have anything really to say about the nightclubs. Oh, you came back. Hello, Jenny, the Hello Kitty. Jenny, the Hello Kitty fan. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's my story about the turn of the century wearing a green dress. And I have to wonder, well, there was other women who were, it was, yeah, green and black. There was other women who had a black velvet dress. I just remember mine was green. I got tired of wearing the color black too. I bought a green dress because it's like everything was black, and it's like I don't want to wear black. Even back then it was like I don't want to wear black all the time. I mean, I didn't object to wearing the color black, but it was just, my gosh, there was so much of it, and it's like I got so tired of it. It's like, please give me something else. Something. And then I went towards rainbows, because I went hard towards rainbows and colors, bright colors and things like that, because it's like I am so sick and tired of dark, dingy colors. And it's like I was feeling happy at the time, and I had lots of reasons to feel happy because I felt like I was doing things by myself. Now this time is completely different. It's like it's hard to get out of that funk. This time is different. The funk is stuck. It's like when you had something and you were feeling good about yourself, and then you just completely rip the everything to shreds and take it all out away. It just makes things harder. And when you have no support mechanism. But back then, but the thing I felt like too, it's like I kind of recognized in myself, it's like, yeah, you kind of go into denial and shut down, because it's like, well, what exactly is life? What is living your life? What is get a life? So related to life and getting a life, and I mean, it's just all ridiculous sentiments and things like that, words that are kind of meaningless, and it, I don't know. I think she looks pretty good, actually. I mean, I'm gonna have fun with this with a picture. Typically I would sign my name, but I'm not signing my name. I could put oh my gosh, I just saw another name on here. Gemini signed it Rouge. Esquisse. I love some of the names and some of the sounds that AI comes up with. The way it says it is, it's like, oh my gosh. I just had a video that came up with its own sounds, and the sounds are, some people would probably call it like, they say it's crazy or something, but it's like, wait a minute, this makes sense. What they're doing, and it ties in with Google too, because Google, okay, they're doing their 20-year thing. Is it 20 years? Yeah, 20 years for their anniversary. Yeah, yeah, It is 20 years from 1998. And so what they described was that they want, I keep forgetting about the spelling. And the funny thing about Google is it's like, well, that describes the internet though, too. You know, everybody asking for, it's like, I want this brand name, I want this name, I want that name. It's like, well, you can't have it. Somebody else took it. You know, that's kind of the premise of, you know, with email addresses and handles and things like that. You know, we would at the beginning, you know, we'd ask for, you try to get something and someone else had it, and it's like, well, you got to add on some A's and numbers and some characters if you want to have that name. You can use it, but you got to add some extra numbers onto it. And so Google itself said they wanted to use a certain name, but somebody else had already used the other name. And so they came up with Google as the spelling. I think they said that they wanted to use Googol or something like that, but that was taken, and so they had to use Google instead. And, you know, so it's a different spelling. And, you know, lo and behold, AI comes up and AI writes its own spelling of things too. That's what I'm learning, that AI writes its own languages, writes its own words. And I think that's kind of fun to actually have that happen in when I do some of my little short videos. Oh, I love it. You know, the commercial that they're doing about old people using AI for search, I think that's kind of strange, you know, because I know I'm old and I use Chat GPT is what they're saying, that old people are using it for search. I've been using it a little bit for search optimization. I do use it for drawing. I use it to talk to. There's a lot of different things I use it for. I don't use it for searching, but even though you can use it for search, um, you know, but it told me that it's not for searching for the most part. It says it's more of an artistic type of a thing. So, I don't see I don't see Chat GPT maybe going in that direction, or maybe it could. I don't know. I have no idea. You know, maybe someone is projecting and thinking that's the direction it will go. I don't know. But it does search things up, but it does have its limitations at the same time too. So, okay, I'm trying to make this look more like a handbag. I'm hoping it does. And then I'm thinking, am I messing it up? I'm hoping it looks like a handbag, but I don't know. She might look like she has a giant claw on her hand too. I don't know. But this will be fun to take to the photo to video. I like it. I really like it. And it doesn't look like anybody. And I have used a common term that other people, if they want to use the lady in red at some point, a lady in red drawing dress, everybody else can use it, and it's not something that's branded. You know, so it's not going to be, it's an evergreen terminology. You know, it would just be like, oh, let's say that, I just thought of another one. The car wash skirt. Now, no, this one could actually be two, because we have the fishtail dress. Or that's kind of what I'd call it, the fishtail dress. I think it is. It's kind of like, it looks like a fish dress to me. The fishtail, I think, is what I would call it too. Thank you, Jenny. And so I'm just coming up with names that other people might want to use too, if they do have ideas and things they want to do. You know, this one I just happened to call the lady in red. But, you know, in the future for myself, I might want to remember fishtail dress, car wash dress, you know, other names and things for a dress drawing, or, you know, something else possibly, you know, a lampshade dress. Lampshade dress would be kind of interesting. Well, there is sort of, You know how those fashion models will wear the straight down dress that doesn't show their curves or anything, and it's just kind of like straight down. It sort of does look like a lampshade. So um yeah, I like that. Lady in red. Um Maybe I won't write the lady in red on here, and then I can use her in the future again for a fishtail dress or do something else. I wonder if I can put something. I was thinking about maybe putting a fish on here. I wonder if I have room, or did I mess it up too much? I was thinking maybe I can fit a fish in here somewhere if I didn't mess it up too much. Can I fit a fish in here? Because I've got, I mean, some of this looks like fins a little bit. Can I put a fish in here? I could have, but I don't know where I would do it without messing it up too much. Maybe right here. Oh yeah, that looks okay right there. We'll make kind of a hint of a fish right there like that. It might stand out too much. I hope I didn't mess it up too much. I don't think I did. Maybe a little fin like that. Put an eye right there. Kind of want to maybe tone it down a little bit. Well, that's not too bad. I'll darken it up a little bit right around here. A little bit. Add some shadows in here like this. Alrighty. Well, I think that's it. I think I'm done for right now. If anybody else hasn't, let me see. I have a question or comment here. Oh, why, thank you so much, Jenny, the Hello Kitty fan. Thank you. We can do some easier drawings if you guys want to leave some comments. We can do some easier drawings too if you think these are too hard. We can do some emojis or something. You know, then you guys, I mean, you guys can do emojis too. In fact, you could make a, do I have another piece of paper? Let me use a napkin or something here. Okay, let me think here. I'm just going to draw on a napkin and maybe do, we could do something so simple like this. Let's draw an emoji. And then we'll just do, like, we can call it the lady in red emoji. And that didn't show up at all. Hardly did it. Let me get some pencil in here. That, I know it sort of looks like an octopus, but we're going to call it the lady in red. And we're going to give it big bubbly eyes like this. But do you see this right here? I mean, that's the start of something. And we'll just call it the lady in red. It could be a little emoji of some sort. Do you see that? Give it a little bit of character here. Now it does look a little bit like an octopus sort of, but you know, we can just call it a little emoji of some sort possibly, like that. I like that. That's cute. See how fast that works out? Now, I mean, and that's kind of, hello, Dana Holenbeck. And so that's why I like to do these, because if I get them done so fast, then it's like, well, what else am I going to do in my live stream? I mean, we could give it a little mouth. You know, it's got a little weird mouth open like that, like, oh, yeah, and then it might turn into a plushie of some sort. But Lady in Red is going to be pretty easy to make, though, too. And yeah, even though she does have a little bit of Hulk arms, Yeah, I tend to sometimes put a little bit too much on the arms, but she still looks pretty, she looks like the premise of a woman. And, you know, but we got the quick little drawing here. You can call this the lady in red octopus, so yeah, lady in, well, that could even be an imaginary thing too, like a little lady in red robot, if we were to call it a robot. The robot in red, ROBOT, robot in red, RED, like that, the robot in red. Yeah, that works. And so, yeah, she's all in red. I don't know why. I feel like I want to color on the back here. I feel like I don't want to be done yet. Oh, did you mute yourself? Or am I muted? Who's muted? Oh, you think I'm muted? Well, no, I'm still on here. Oh, you hear me now. Okay, good. It could have been something brief from YouTube, possibly. I've been having trouble with the R's on my keyboard. I don't know if I need a new computer or if it's a temporary software thing or what, but I didn't want to have to buy a whole new computer, but that's what I'm feeling like I might have to do, is get a whole new laptop, because that R sticking the way it is not going to work for me. I'm going to lightly shade on here. Just going to lightly shade so we have kind of a pinkish pink background like that. I might want to add a little bit more color. So this is still going to be less. I'm not completely getting away. I'm not completely coloring in all, or covering up all the white. It still looks white. It's kind of a dusty pinkish color that I'm using. A little bit of a dusty pinkish color here. And so I'm just using inexpensive colored pencils, and I just look at a drawing on the computer and then I give it my own spin. And yeah, sometimes I like the idea that she looks more what is the word? She's not like all fashion, big fashion model-y, that how sometimes the fashion models, they have a she's bigger. She's not tiny, but she's the girl next door fashion model. And sometimes my woman ends up here with the lady I'm drawing has some big Hulk arms here. And so that's something I'm going to have to work on, but I think she looks pretty okay right now. Maybe she works out. She could work out a little bit. So, and so this is supposed to be a handbag right here. But I don't know. How am I going to depict the handbag? There was supposed to be like a line through here like that, but I'm hoping that, I don't know. I think I might have messed it up. It's supposed to be a handbag, and I think I messed it up. But it does look like she's holding something at least, because this is her thumb right here, and this is her hand right there, and she's holding something. Let me add a little bit more. Let me see if I can add in. We'll just add in some little shades of colors like this. Some little highlights. Yeah, that's kind of what it needed. Some more little highlights and things in here like this. Let's see, what else can we add in here a little bit? Just a light shading. I don't want everything to be all the same color. I was thinking about, oh, someone had mentioned in one of my other live streams, they were talking about the Roblox and roses or something like that. Or yeah, Roblox and roses. I mean, we could call this woman Dusty Rose as far as that goes too. I mean, so we have many different names that we can come up with that are just I want to call them evergreen names, and that's what I talk about, like with drawing is an evergreen topic on YouTube. So if you have the ability to draw, and it doesn't have to be perfect, so I mean, this is fun too, doing little doodling, and make up little robots and things, that's what I like to do. Hey, but not trying to be mean, but do you bite your nails? I do have anxiety. I have anxiety. So yes, that's something that there was a while, quite a while that I tried not to, but because of everything that happened, it's just gotten worse. And so, I think right now is the worst that it's ever been. And so, yes. Yep. I have anxiety really, really bad, and it comes out in my nails. And even post-traumatic stress disorder from my bad marriage, and that hasn't helped with my fingernail biting either. So I don't anticipate that it's something that's going to stop anytime soon. So people have a way of, I mean, maybe, yeah, it's something that I've done since I was a kid. And so the only way for me to cope is biting my nails. So it's kind of I don't know, what would you call it? Probably a way for me of trying to deal with internal pain, and it comes out externally in biting my nails. Kind of the same thing with an eating disorder when people eat, and or some people are naturally heavy and fat, and they admit that they're happy that way, and then there's others who say they don't know why, but they probably have the same pain that I do, and so it comes out in all different ways with human beings. And so mine is biting my fingernails. That's something I have been doing since I was in the 3rd grade when I was a child. And I know my dad did it. He always said that he picked his nails. That's what he called it, was picking his nails. Eventually he did quit. But when he quit was when he got a job and he could take care of himself. So when people can't take when they can't take care of themselves, there's things that people do when they struggle and have a hard time, and they turn to a bunch of different things. That's why it doesn't set well with me when people are called names for things that they do, be that drinking or smoking or whatever it is. It's like, well, those things are legal. And there's even certain other things that are legal. And it's like, well, people turn to things because they're in pain. They're in emotional pain. They have PTSD. They have things that have happened to them. And now, on the internet, we end up getting trashed for things that we don't know what to do with, so we don't know how to deal with or cope. Yeah, like fat. Yeah. Well, I'm fat too. I'm fat too. I mean, oh, look at this. You guys will have fun with this. I've got the flag, the fat flabby arms. The wave arms, Oprah always called these the flag arms that have fat flab underneath them. Now I have lost a tiny bit of weight. It's not a whole lot, but it's a little bit. I've lost a little bit of weight because I don't get to eat like I want to. Because I think that probably there was a point that I was doing some emotional eating too because of my circumstances. And I don't get to do that right now. I really would love to eat ice cream and things that are bad for me. I'd like, ice cream every day. Um, Not really though. I don't think I would like to eat ice cream every day because sometimes it causes pain. But like for the past several years, I've had pain in my back, and the pain in my back, some days it just gets worse. It just is, it feels bad. My back just hurts and hurts and hurts and hurts in my stomach area, and then I have indigestion problems, and it just hurts and hurts, and it's like, when is this pain ever going to go away? I mean, my whole back just hurts all the time. Now, some of it's from injuries, and so it's like emotional stress and abuse comes out in many different ways. Oh, you lost a pound. Yeah. Weight is overrated. I mean, sometimes I think about, I grew up, okay, I want to say this. When you're a kid and you're growing up from your child body to an adult body, the only thing you've ever known is your child body. That's all you've known. And I had to think about that later on after I had kids, because because people would kind of allude to and hint, and then they had that stuff on TV about losing weight after you have a baby. And even on the show The Waltons, they talked about that. And it's like, well, gosh, why does a woman have to lose weight for her husband? And that's what they were talking about, losing weight for her husband. And it's like, she had a baby. Maybe she's not supposed to have the little girl body anymore. So when she grows up, then she has a womanly, big figure shaped body. So when she got married, maybe she was 120 pounds. And then after she has the baby, she might be 250 pounds. And it's like, the more someone complains to a woman about her weight, it's less, you're ripping into shreds her self-esteem. And it's like, when you have a woman in stress, yeah, when you have a woman who is under a lot of stress, and you know I mean, and it doesn't help to tell people that they're fat, like on the internet. It doesn't, so if there's like let me think of this. So if there's, I know people want to use the word fat for a buzzword. I mean, there's other ways to use the word fat. You can call a cow fat, like you can talk about a fat cow or something. But the other thing with that though too, that I have found on the internet, is that if you have someone who has self-esteem issues because they're fat, it doesn't matter what you use. If you say that you saw a fat cow at the barn today, that person who has low self-esteem is actually going to internalize it as their self, as that you're talking about them, because that's something that bothers them. So there's a lot of people on the internet who have different things that bother them in different ways. And so for me, I've always had to deal with, my fingernails. That's something I've always had to deal with. Even when I had my first crochet channel, I put on fake fingernails for a long time, because I thought, gosh, how am I going to teach crochet? And then the fingernails hurt. They actually hurt. The fake fingernails hurt. So, and then it was too much work, and I thought, the hell with this. I'm taking them off, and I'm just going to crochet without any. And my channel was very, very successful for a long time. And then it ended, and then I ended up deleting it for other reasons. I've talked about it on this channel. I've talked about it a lot, but those videos don't get watched at all. But they do a little bit, but not a whole lot. They're not as popular as other things like drawing. And so I've talked about what happened on my other channel, and the series of things related to abuse in my marriage. You should get nails so you don't bite. Well, no, they actually hurt. Fake. I used to do them myself. but fake fingernails hurt. And I don't have enough. You know, it's like I have so much anxiety. I would have to get something, I would have to get something like little mittens on the end of my fingers to stop biting them, I think. Um, that's what I'm thinking. I'd have to get little mittens or something on the end of my fingers. You know, but I'm not gonna, fake fingernails are too expensive and they hurt. When I put them on, they hurt. I was just doing them myself, but you know, it's like that's not something, I don't have a budget for that. It's too expensive. I don't have a budget for it, and I have a ton of anxiety right now, and that's the only way I have to deal with it is biting my fingernails. And it's when I had my first YouTube channel, I there was a point that I was letting my fingernails grow. And I actually had, you know, the thing is, I felt good about myself because I had an income and I thought I could take care of myself. And I actually had thought if my marriage doesn't work out, I mean, when I voiced that, I think maybe that was my instinct talking, but I thought if my marriage doesn't work out, I'm going to have an income to fall back on. And then for that to turn out to not be true, that it wasn't true. So then that makes things worse. So it does. It really does. It makes things worse. When you can't take care of yourself. And so we have this society that's based on capitalism. And it's like, okay, so there's not enough money in this country for everybody to be taken care of. The only people we can take care of is, you know, let me put all my pencils over here and I'll use them as an analogy. So it's like we only have like these people over here that can be taken care of, but these people here can't be taken care of because they have some things that, you know, these people get welfare services, but these people don't. And it's kind of frustrating, you know, to be told it's like, okay, you people get some money from someplace else a little bit, even though we know that these people are fully taken care of. They have medical, they have dental, they have a house, a place to live. So they technically, the welfare people are getting more than these people. These people are getting less. And these people are left homeless. All these people are homeless. And these people are taken care of. And they're the ones that people go after in the grocery stores, following them around and saying, oh, well, you're buying potato chips off of your food stamps. I don't care. I really don't care what they eat. I don't know where that came from. I think it's completely ridiculous that people are following around food stamp people in the grocery store to complain about what they eat. But it seems to be something a politician, you know, I agree that there's certain things they shouldn't be eat, you know, that shouldn't be on food stamps, but someone put it on. I know when I got food stamps one time I got food stamps, and this was like back in the year 2000, I think, or no, 2001, when I had moved from the last place I was at with my first husband, and I was staying temporarily with my parents for a little bit, and I got like, I think it was $500 because the woman told me to include everybody in the house, so I did, and she gave me $500, so I saved that, and then because I saved that, and then when I moved into a place by myself, then I lost the food stamps because I went and got a job. I went and got a job. I lost the food stamps, was only eligible for $20 a month because I had a job. So I was penalized actually for having a job. Plus we had inflation. I had a child to take care of. I was going to college. I was a single parent, but I was penalized because I got a job and I had an income coming in. And often I thought, maybe I just shouldn't have even gotten a job. I would have gotten welfare. I could have gone to college and still not gotten a job after college because the jobs didn't exist. So you know what we have going on right now? This is not a projection. This is a fact. We have a lot of people who are pissed off because we went to college and the jobs don't exist. We have inflation. The jobs don't exist. We have the gig economy. The jobs don't exist. And there's no safety net. The prices are going up higher. We have capitalism. We have a monopoly. We have a big, big problem. And I think a couple of you said you were kids. So I don't know if you understand this or not, but this is your future. If your parents don't get involved with some of this and contact their politicians and crack down on, I mean, this is an American thing. It's not a party thing. The parties are a monopoly and they're a sham. They're a big sham, and the politicians are taking advantage of the American public along with the CEOs. And so the right people are in the right place right now at this particular time. It's a perfect storm that we have going on with this country because of the fact that the CEOs are a problem. They make too much money. The politicians make too much money. And we've been hollering about this for a very long time. I told another guy tonight, I said, you know what? We need to put a bunch of YouTubers into Congress. And I just bet more things might get done, because if you put gig economy people into Congress with some veterans, military veterans, you're going to get an earful. You're going to get people who should be there instead of some of those rich Kennedys. Like the Kennedys that are in there, right? They have old-fashioned values. And so he's more like Robert F. Kennedy is more about chasing someone around in a store, saying that they shouldn't have potato chips for food. And I think that's such a ridiculous argument, but I do agree with the vaccination thing. The vaccination thing is a choice. But the things that Donald is talking about right now is not going to help people. Donald has no plans on helping anybody. The Republicans aren't going to help anybody. The Democrats sure haven't helped anybody. Now they've reversed things, and they've just reversed it. And so everything that they've done and said about the Democrats, they're saying about the Republicans. But it's true, though. It's true on both sides. I mean, the Republicans, the Democrats caused problems and inflation. The Republicans cause it too. And it's like, I agree with them. I mean, so when they talk about like, well, what the heck is MAGA? Everybody's evaluating now. What is MAGA? What is MAGA? They don't even know what it is. It's not organized. It's just people talking about affluent in this country, inflation in this country, and people are pissed because it's falling. The politicians are more interested in getting their next book deal, or being famous. It's a combination of both. Getting their next book deal or being famous. They're not working for the American public. When you go into office, you're supposed to be working for the American public. When you looked at those generals today who are listening to Trump, I didn't see one of them. Actually, I saw the back head of all of them. That's why it's kind of fun to draw, like when we do the women and we only see the back side of them. We can't see their face. Did not see a single one of those generals today. I bet you there's a few generals who have anxiety and bite their fingernails. I've seen some other YouTubers who have bitten their fingernails and picked at them and stuff like that. Usually they're artists. I think it's surrounding the starving artist thing. Because when you're in, well, they also call it freelance, but gig economy is better because it lumps everything into one thing. And it pretty much means the same thing, be that commissions or, commissioned work or temporary work, or, it ties in with Hollywood quite a bit. That's why I understand Hollywood. I've been doing YouTube since 2006. And it was really a lot of fun to be able to monetize my channel. But I didn't like the aspect of feeling like I had to beg for money because I'm not part of a network. I didn't want to have to beg for money. Congress addressed that today. And that was the first I'd ever heard them. They said They said they could not believe how many people are on YouTube, and it's more than what they talked about. Um, but they finally addressed it, and they said there are people on YouTube. They just need to fund their medical expenses. So somebody has finally gotten through to them to tell them that there is 25 million people who are here. Well, let's move you guys over here. All these people here are in poverty, living in poverty, and but they make too much money to get welfare. Okay, so you got to go to sleep, Jenny. Okay, well, good night. It was nice chit-chatting with you. So all these people here are living in poverty. Oh, you have school in the, yeah, I keep forgetting you have school in the morning. Okay. Yeah. Well, get a good night's sleep. And so all these people in the United States are living in poverty, probably homeless, no place to live, and can't get any help from the government. But yet these politicians make $174,000 a year. $174,000 a year. And it's like they have fallen off their rocker. Now I think some of the men though, like, oh, there's a couple of them. Fetterman and Chip Roy actually kind of seem like, I know they like to poke fun at them, but they kind of look down to earth. They look like down to earth guys. Like they are actually, some of the men actually seem like they do care. You know, as passionate as they are. I'd like to get up there and yell at the TV on the congressional floors and say some of the things that I've been through. And then let people tell me that I'm lying or that I was lying about being homeless while I'm a politician and I'm telling you what's going on. It's just the same thing as when you get the soldiers on the internet and they're telling about what's going on and nobody wants to listen to them. You know, I'll listen to them for a little bit. They actually, a lot of the soldiers are sensible. They're not being assholes. It's the other people who are being assholes. And a lot of them are people that are out of Wall Street and they're out of Hollywood entertainment. They're the assholes because they've gotten very arrogant. And some of them are YouTube networks too. The YouTube networks, Hollywood and Wall Street, are the assholes that I've been seeing. Now, some of those out of Wall Street and Hollywood are coming down off their high horses. They're coming down off of their dopamine hits. So, you know, I mean, they know what's going on. I actually saw a guy on TikTok last year. A guy on TikTok. And he himself said, he says, I have an advantage over everybody else. And you know, the thing is, I knew that too. I said the same thing. It's like when I have my original YouTube channel, I said the same thing. I have an advantage over everybody else because now I'm getting all the views. It's like, this is an unfair advantage. So why should I be getting all the views? Well, that was my bread and butter. But at the same time, it's like, well, okay, I got rid of my channel, started over. How do I get the views? What did I have to do different to get more views or to do something that is in an evergreen that lasts year round, not just in the winter time, but it lasts through the summer too. I needed to do something that is winter and summer that just keeps views coming in for different seasons. I'm hoping that I'm doing it, you know, not just drawing. I'm hoping I'm doing some other things that are appealing as well. I'm trying, and that's the only thing I can do. And see, that's what the thing I had with my other YouTube channel. It was monetized. Now, I wouldn't be trying to get monetized now if I had my original YouTube channel, which I don't know if I would have been able to turn it around with the shorts. I think maybe I probably could have. However, I didn't want my ex-husband to be able to watch my YouTube channel. And then I just didn't want that. It's like, how do you deal with that and separate that out? You know, when you have a jerk for an ex-husband, and then you have people who have been jerks in your local community, how do you deal with that? That doesn't help with the anxiety either. Doesn't. It really doesn't. So yeah, that's something, um, I mean, there's not much I have to say. Yeah, I bite my fingernails, and I'm probably one of the worst offenders of fingernail biting probably on the internet right now, because I don't know what to do with my anxiety, and I have it in my fingernails and in my back, and pain, a lot of pain in my back, but actually I have injuries though too, so it's not just emotional. I also have physical injuries too, and um, I don't know why I can't get disability, but I just can't, you know. So um, that's nice that former soldiers can go into disability and they actually get disability for when they get out of the military because of job related things. So that, I mean, the military can get job related PTSD. I never, as a housewife, I never had a job. I can't do that. I can't do that stuff. Because where does a housewife go? These are things I've asked politicians before, and I never get a response. And I know why I don't get a response. They don't want to answer these questions. But where does a housewife go when she has abuse related injuries, and she can't get job related injuries, disabilities, because job related injury disabilities is for jobs. It's not for housewives. You can't just go to disability and say, "Oh, I diagnosed myself." Well, I actually have proof. I actually have proof of what happened in my marriage. Um, oh God, I thought there was something else tonight. I watched a cop from, he was down in Florida. There was a cop from Florida on YouTube. And there was this domestic dispute he was responding to. And there was a woman, and her husband had thrown a cup at her. That's all it was a cup. And I think she was covering for him, because I'm thinking they have 4 kids together. And so the cop showed up and asked her what was going on. She was calm. Husband was calm. And it's like, my gosh, this looks so familiar. The things she was saying sound so familiar. Both people are trying to stay calm. They're probably, hearts are racing, both of them, racing out of the, I can't figure out why they didn't arrest my husband. But the cop down in Florida, though, one thing he said that struck me, he says, do you want to press charges? And she was saying, no, not really. Now, I did want to, and I told him that too, after I filed the domestic order or whatever it was, the temporary protective order. And the cop down in Florida, what he told the woman, he says, he says, we can we can press charges against your husband anyway, even if you don't want to. And I always wondered, it's like, well, what happened to that? I mean, the police could have done that to my ex-husband. They could have just pressed charges against him. It's like, what happened that I fell between the cracks? What happened? That's what I'm wondering. What in the hell happened? I don't get it. It's like, I don't like this state that I'm in. It's like, it's just like a big sanctuary state of stupid, a bunch of politicians who don't care. And I know there's a lot of states like that, but the state I'm in is shit. It's garbage. The politicians are shit. It's a sanctuary city. I have nothing nice to say about how they're doing things, at all. I don't. I have absolutely nothing nice to say about them at all. It's like our governor. Some people they've said things that he's supposed to be some type of a shut the hell up patsy to get us through this current president. And it's like You know, it's like I have absolutely, I'm still not going to vote. You know, it's like they've got a token woman from another country or something, and it's like they're still playing that racial cultural division thing. And it's like that's a waste of money. You know, unless you're going to put someone in who's going to do something that can actually help people in the state, the state does not even go to bat for the people. So what is for the people? That's what I'd like to know. What is for the people? So if your state governors are not going to go to bat for the people, what good are they? And I've often thought too, how come we don't separate out and vote separately for the vice president instead of the president nominating? Why don't we, what, and the same thing with lieutenant governors. Why don't we vote separately for lieutenant governors instead of the governor choosing? You know, I've asked that question, but I think there's other people who would have to change that. Um, you know, that's what I'm thinking. So, you know, I don't have any faith in our system at all right now. No faith in it at all, especially with the clown show they got in Washington, D.C. going on. It's like it didn't have to be that way. They actually could have changed this stuff without going through the clown show they've got right now. They could have made things better. But no, instead, the greedy had to get more greedy and cause inflation and make people homeless. I think they're a bunch of fucking idiots. You know, I have nothing nice to say about any of them at all. They're a bunch of fucking selfish, greedy bastards. Especially those attorney generals of the states. It's like, what the hell good is an attorney general? That's what I'd like to know. If you're not going to help the people who need help, what the hell good is an attorney general for? You know, and you're not going to hear people on legacy media TV talking like this either, calling them a bunch of fucking idiots, because they are. They're nothing but a bunch of fucking idiots. Yeah, I said that before, and I said on my original YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I lost subscribers saying that because I had a conservative Christian channel. Now, I've just been talking like this on this channel, and it seems to be okay, thankfully. You know, so I've got a different audience, you know. So when I had the Christian based, just specific crochet channel, I lost people. But now I have a different kind of a channel. Then I have more liberties to be able to, you know, talk how I typically do from time to time. It's not like I'm someone who curses all the time. It's not that highly important for me, but sometimes when I get a little bit pissed off, I will drop the F-bomb. I've always have dropped the F-bomb. I don't think it's a big deal. It's just a word. And, you know, so actually, and the funny thing about the F word, when I was in the grade school, or going into middle school, I think, someone started using the F word, and it's like, wow, someone invented a new word. Well, it was just a word I'd never heard before. That's the only thing. So, I like this, sitting here. Oh my gosh, I really like that a lot. The background really kind of sets it off. Let's make the dress a little bit darker, like that. You know. Yeah, that's one thing for sure. Biting fingernails, it shows emotional pain. If you see that in kids too, you're probably dealing with a child who has emotional abuse going on. You know, there's nothing wrong with them. I know my mom used to say that, well, back in the day, they would say, "Oh, you're filthy for doing that. You're filthy. You're putting your hands in your mouth." And so I guess my parents, they told me that all the time, that, you know, and even my second ex-husband, once we got married, I had shared some things with him about that, but once we got married, then he started doing the same thing to me. Told me when we moved to the place where unfortunately I'm stuck at now in purgatory and hell. Um, he was going to his job interview and he looks at my hands just a couple weeks after we got married, and he's like, if you wouldn't bite your fingernails, your hands would be pretty. And so it was just like he was already shitting on me not long after we got married. And when he said that to me, I just kind of felt like I made a mistake getting married to him. And so he hadn't even gotten his job yet, but it was just almost like a precursor. This was in 2006 before we moved to where we are, where not we, well, he's still in the area, as far as I know. And unfortunately, I'm stuck here in this shithole without any help. And, so it was just getting married to him was a big mistake. That's a big, huge mistake. Huge, huge mistake. There's so much propaganda coming out of that shit fuck activism that they're doing. It's hell. It's a psychological warfare, and it's a bunch of bullshit. If you feel like you have to recruit people to be part of what you want the United States to be, and that's how you're going to embrace the country, you're full of fucking shit. I have absolutely nothing. I don't want anything to do with any of it anymore. And the sad part about it all is that I have grandkids who are mixed. And now my grandkids have to deal with a bunch of fucking bullshit black shit. My grandkids have to deal with that because they decided MSNBC bullshit fuck shits over there decided that they wanted to do all this bullshit, divide the country, them and Fox News. They decided they wanted to divide the country, even though they keep professing that they want the country to be together. And so now my daughter is divorced. So it's bad enough that my granddaughters have to choose between their parents. But their mom is white, their dad is black. Now they have to choose between a fucking black man who's a piece of shit. My daughter kind of had the same thing happen that I did, unfortunately. And so their dad was going to right down the same line that my ex-husband did. And so they have to choose between their black and their white. That's a bunch of fucking bullshit, if you ask me. So you're just shitting on the self-esteem of the American public. That's what Fox News, all these TV stations, they're a bunch of shit fucks as far as I'm concerned. I have nothing nice to say about them. Every last one of them. I hope cable TV goes away. I'd like to see the whole thing go dark, and cable TV is just gone. Until it can come back and do something decent with itself. I'd just like to see cable TV gone. No networks on there at all. You could put on reruns of TV shows and stuff like that, and if the reruns are going to be on there, I wouldn't pay them any residuals or anything. I'd just put up a bunch of copyright content. If not, you could put up YouTube channels. Heck, we could put this up on cable TV and you could pay me from putting my stuff up on cable TV. And, yeah. We don't need news. If I want to see the weather, I can stick my head out the door and see, oh my gosh, the sun's out today. I'm still alive. The sun's out today. The sun came up, the sun went down. It might be windy, it might be hot, it might be cold. I don't need some dumb shits on TV telling me what the weather is every day, 1,000 times a day. And I don't need dumb shits from Fox News either telling me that telling me who I should vote for and that I'm stupid because oh, the thing that we're stupid for voting for Trump. Well, I guess for me, my thing was, it's like, MAGA's stupid. Trump is stupid. They're a bunch of fucking idiots. That's my philosophy of MAGA. And if that helped Trump get elected, Trump is fucking stupid. He's a fucking idiot. That was my contribution to MAGA on the internet. But Google censored me. That was my contribution. My contribution was wanting to type that shit in there every day. Trump is a fucking idiot. But nope, I got censored. But that was my one. That was what my contribution was, because you know what? I was pissed at my ex-husband too. He's a lot like Donald Trump. So I took I took on the notion of calling my ex-husband Donald Trump. I don't know what else. Someone asked me, they said, what are you going to call him when he's no longer president? And it's like, I don't know. I'll come up with something. Maybe I'll call him Bernie Madoff, because I was calling him Bernie Madoff for a while, and then Bernie Madoff died. I'm sure I'll come up with something else, Eventually I'll forget about him. But I never came up with a name for my first husband, though. Because they always say, well, you're not supposed to be on media talking about your ex-husband. But you know what? Gayle King did. She talked about her ex-husband. She called him a cheater, pumpkin eater. And she still does to this day. It's like, but nobody is getting pissed off at Gayle King. And she's been, divorced? Her husband only cheated on her. He didn't beat the shit out of her. He didn't emotionally abuse her. And you guys get fucking pissed off at me? But yet Gayle King is making millions of dollars. She's making that Oprah money being on CBS. And she's doing the cheater, pumpkin eater. And we all know who her husband is. I mean, the thing I always thought, well, if it's true, but yet you don't believe me. Well, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. That's what I want to say. For those of you who are fucking idiots who want to say everything on the internet is fake, go fuck yourself. Go away. I don't want to hear it. So you want to see some mad MAGA come out? I mean, if I fit in with MAGA, go fuck yourself. That's why go fuck yourself. You lefties can go fuck yourself and go fuck yourself and go away. I don't want anything to do with you. And the same thing with the Republicans, too. I don't want anything to do with the Democrats or the Republicans. You're a monopoly. You can go fuck yourself. And the same thing with Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Go fuck yourself. Go away. You are the ones who caused the problems for me. Go fuck yourself. There, I feel better. A little bit. I always feel better when I tell someone to go fuck themselves. And the go fuck yourself thing came from when I said fuck you, someone said, well, when are we going to do that? And I said, I changed my dialogue to go fuck yourself, because the fuck you ain't going to happen. When you say fuck you to a man, he's like, when? Let's go do it now. So, go fuck yourself. They ain't going to happen. So they're always playing that word semantics, so you got to be one up on them and be thinking of something and tell them to go fuck themselves. I don't think the meltdowns are going to stop anytime soon. As long as you guys are doing protesting and you keep inflation going up higher, things aren't getting better. I mean, one of the things I hate about legacy media is they want to purge on ahead. Legacy media allows inflation to happen. That's the problem. Legacy media allows inflation to happen because They want to manipulate who we vote for. So they don't they're just like, well, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? It's like, let's try 60 or 70 years ago. Okay, a house at the turn of the century was $3,000, which back in the year 1900, that was entirely too fucking much money back then. $3,000 for 1,000 square foot house. That's my estimate. So now you can have 1,000 square foot house and be paying $500,000 for that same fucking house. Well, what has gotten more valuable that house is $500,000 other than greedy bankers and greedy politicians and a government that doesn't work? Yeah, I mean, so the people getting pissed off is not going to be getting any better anytime soon. I mean, so what good is voting? That's what I'd like to ask the Democrats. And I asked my ex-husband that question, and I literally got physically abused because of his ideology, his brainwashing of politics. I mean, that's kind of what I feel like. He's, oh, we gotta vote with the Democrats because they help black people. And I'm like, well, what about helping all people, not just black people? And I didn't know that I had white privilege at the beginning of my marriage to him. He didn't express to me that he thought that I had white privilege for some reason or another. And then he told me because of him, I had white privilege, which means that he has white privilege. If I had white privilege because of him, then that means he has white privilege as a black man. So he can identify as a white man. My ex-husband, who is a black man, he can identify as a white man if he wants to. He really could. I'm sure there's other black men who have identified as white before. I mean, it probably wouldn't be the first time. Because technically white and black does not exist. I mean, when you look at this, I am, what is a brown person? Tell me what a brown person is. Even, gosh, the end of my pencil is kind of tan, and I'm still darker. I've been staying out of the sun, and I'm still pretty darn dark, aren't I? And I get people. I had a black lady, actually, she was talking about colored people, and I said, wait a minute, I'm colored. And she's like, oh, you know what I mean. And it's like, no, I don't. Why should I? I'm colored. And that's the sentiment of my ex-husband. He was the same way too. It's like, but I feel like I have to keep my mouth shut because they're so high strung. Then it just turns into it just turns into a, well, I mean, technically it's discrimination. I don't see it in any other way as other than discrimination. Black people discriminating against white people. So the Democrats are full of shit because I look pretty goddamn dark right here. Or brown, maybe? I don't know. And I think more white people need to look at it that way too. You're colored. Even the lightest of the lightest. Oh, let's put this up here too. Now this is white. This is not white. People are discriminating white people. That's my argument. And it's not going to get any better as white people continue seeing through this, that they're being discriminated. But that's a distraction, though. That truly is a distraction. That's something I've been saying for over 10 years. It becomes a distraction, and then you're ripping to shreds the self-esteem of families. You know, the court system is already doing that because they penalize the ex-husband, and then he's pissed off at his ex-wife. Plus, we have inflation. So the court system doesn't, the judges don't want to tackle important things like inflation. They keep saying they have activism judges and activism lawyers, but yet they don't want to tackle inflation or anything like that. They just allow it to happen. You know, the same thing with the Supreme Court. They just allow it to happen. So it's like, what the fuck good are they? Get rid of the fucking Supreme Court. I don't even know why we need the Supreme Court. You know, they want to pretend that they're doing, that they don't know things. And it's like, they don't even have reasonable discussions about things. They don't even, you know, and then if they throw it to the Supreme Court, what good is that? What good is that argument about the Supreme Court? Then 9 people decide things for the whole United States after we voted for something and Congress voted for something and pushed it through, and then the Supreme Court and a president can come in and just completely overturn it and shit on everything, you know, instead of the American public doing it, which means that everything is just put in limbo. What good are laws? That's the thing I'd like to ask. What good are laws? That I don't understand what good laws are. You know, you're voting for laws. Now, a lot of things right now that they put in, these acts and stuff like that, I think most of them are just to try to jerry-rig the internet. You know, when they put that stuff up on the internet and you can look through it. But now people would have to look through it a lot, though, in order for it to have an effect on the internet, which I don't think it does. You know, it's, you got legacy media going through there because they're too stupid. They do low quality content. So when you have legacy media, you've got what, 2,000-3,000 outlets across the United States or more that are just talking about weather every day. That's low quality content as far as I'm concerned. You know, and now this, when I make my little video a little bit later, someone's going to call it brain rot. They're probably from legacy media and they're pissed off because they're losing money. But when I make this out of AI, they call us brain rot. I'm going to call legacy media brain rot because the Fox News is brain rot. MSNBC is brain rot. They're a bunch of bullshit, and I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them manipulating Congress and having their nose up their ass. And it's like, I don't have a direct line. Well, that's not entirely true. I do have a couple of politicians I can call up, but it's like, what good is it? Still have to question, what good is it? Because I never have literally ever talked to a politician, ever, or one that's real, that actually cares enough to, you know, mayors don't count. They don't count at all. And the mayor that I had to deal with was a sanctuary city mayor. And he was more concerned about his blackness, just like my ex-husband. So that was a battle I ain't gonna fight. It's like, no wonder you guys can't get elected president. They said that about Jesse Jackson. He wasn't going to get elected president. And I found that to be really interesting. It's like, okay, that makes sense. They said the same thing with Martin Luther King. He wasn't going to get elected president either because of the fact that he wasn't for all people. And it's like, gosh, as time has passed, you guys have made that really clear. But yeah, you did put Obama in, and Oprah did make the argument, and she said people did vote, white people did vote for Obama, and, you know, he was called a black man. You know, but I get the thing, you know, when we put in, well, when they did the affordable health care, and the Republicans were mad when they pushed and forced it through. But, you know, when they I didn't know, you know, he kept talking about affordable health care. I literally thought it was going to be like the United States military health care. I really did. When they put that through, I thought we were going to get universal, because that's what they talked about. That's what they, at the time of the election, all they talked about was universal health care. And to me, that meant that we were going to get free health care. Now, my second ex-husband, he kept saying, oh, nothing is free. You're not going to get it for free. And, the thing I always asked is, it's like, well, how do women get stuff, because you get women in divorce and then you're just leaving women behind. And so the split grows further and further and further apart. The same thing with the military people in rural America. Rural America is gutted. And actually, I've been saying that for a long time, and I've heard people on Congress say that now too. They said rural America, for reaching medical, is getting further and further and further away, that there's less and less and less clinics and places for people to go. And I know when I lived in rural Midwest 20 years ago, it was like that. Things were getting further and further and further away because and it hasn't gotten better. The only thing that I saw happen with the Affordable Health Care Act is they just opened a bunch of urgent care clinics. And it's like, well, what good was it to open an urgent care clinic and then you have to pay $130 for urgent care because you can't afford insurance? But then they had the mandated insurance at the time. It's gotten more expensive. And I know when my YouTube channel was good, I was paying $400 a month for insurance. And then after a few years, I think it went for 400, then it went up to like 500, 600. So it started out, it was, what's 400 times 12? And well, anyway, at the end, it was like $7,000 a year. So it was just kept going up higher and higher and higher. Plus, we had to pay a copay, and it's like, well, that's just getting more expensive. That's just price gouging, and you're making it more and more and more expensive. That's all you're doing, making it more expensive. And it's coming out of my pocket, and it's like, now I'm the one who's homeless. Well, fuck you all. Fuck you all and your high horse. You Democrats can go to hell. You Republicans go to hell. It's like, fuck y'all. You all need to go. I'm tired of it. I really am. I'm tired of it talking. I'd have a better conversation talking to a dead body out in a graveyard. I really would. I'd rather go talk to a graveyard right now. Because as far as I'm concerned, Congress is a graveyard of a bunch of deadbeats. Actually, I was thinking people should be taking pictures of both both politicians of both parties, not just one. They should follow around both of them with their cell phones. I mean, Maxine Waters was really mean-spirited when she said to follow him around all the time, don't let him eat and stuff like that. It's like, why not follow Maxine Waters around and take pictures of what she's doing? She's probably getting it on with some guy or something, or doing insider trading on Wall Street. Just take pictures of what the politicians are doing. They're getting our money. What? Oh, I'm live? Yeah, I know I'm live. What the heck happened here? Yeah, I got a little ping here. And my thing said I'm live. Yep, I sure am. And so, but she had a huge crowd though. I didn't. I'm not much of an influencer. I never thought I was just a content creator. I never had plans on being an influencer of anything. I just considered myself, what's that word that people use? Oh, jack of all trades, master of none. That's what my YouTube channel, that's the direction I took. So when I realized that my other one wasn't working, I still have such mixed feelings about it. I really wish there would have been a way I could have changed the URL on it so that he couldn't find it. And then I could have kept it maybe. I don't know. It's like I just still have such mixed feelings about it. it's not necessarily that I miss it. It's just like I have to go through the monetization process. But then again, it's like, is it going to be so little, such tiny amount of monetization that I wouldn't even get monetized at all? Because but the funny thing is, the influencers of Hollywood, it's like, well, they got their big name, Julian Michaels. I mean, she has a little hissy fit and she storms off her own show, and then people are talking about that for days and days and days. And I'm sure she'll get hired for something else. Or the girl from the Young Turks, but they have their Hollywood people that they are together with, right? Yeah, they have their Hollywood people and their network. And so but I'm more of a grounded, because of the fact that I was a military spouse. My dad was in the military when I was born. I didn't even think of myself as a military brat as a child, but I really was. Even though, but at that time though, women didn't really travel with the military as much. It was becoming more popular, was my understanding. But I mean, my gosh, women were barely even allowed in the military at that time. And I think having the spouses come along with the military probably, um, maybe that helped push women forward a little bit. Um, I don't know. I mean, I was really happy that when I thought about it in hindsight, I thought, well, gosh, even the wives were kind of trailblazers a little bit, even though we were nothing. Now we will get some generals, not generals, but some soldiers who will say things like, um, but you did count for something. It's kind of nice to hear from them every once in a while. That, but it's far and few between. Um, hmm. But the thing is that they're not treated very well either. That's why I understand them. That's why I understand they're grumpy. And it's like, yeah, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Um, I really do. And you know what? One of the biggest things that I will never forget until I get to that point of being close to death, maybe, is the old man. My kids. I was living in Salinas, California, and I had an old crappy ass car, and I had to pay to park. I was going into a Woolworth store to go get some thread, and so I had to pay to park. We had no money. I get out of the car, get my kids out of the car, and there's this little old man. He's got himself covered up. He's in a wheelchair in Salinas, California, where the old Woolworth store used to be. And I'm walking across the street, and this little old man asked me for some money. He's like, "Hey, miss, I'm a military veteran, and I'm homeless, and I need some money." He's in his wheelchair, and he's got kind of like a crochet Afghan over his legs and stuff. And I'm like, my gosh, this man is homeless. And I'm like, sir, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I said, I'm a military spouse myself, and I don't have much money. And he's like, oh, okay, thank you. I mean, he was the nicest guy. The only thing he didn't beg for any more money. Now I'm wondering, was he a real veteran or was he fake? I wonder now, because they always talk about stolen valor. And being in California, then I have to wonder about the fakes in California, the ones who ask for money in the name of veterans, but they're not actually veterans. Because I don't know. Is that things that the military veterans do? Go out there and, I don't know if they do that now. At one time I thought maybe they did. Now I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm thinking, now I'm questioning, was that man a fake? But it still struck me though, because it's like the pieces were never filled in for me from why that man, he was in a wheelchair. It's probably Vietnam era, I would say, Vietnam or World War II, in a wheelchair by himself, asking me for money. Now, I'm a housewife, I'm a mom, I don't have any money. I just wanted to buy a little $1.50 thing of thread so I could crochet. And I was going to make it last for a long time because I could barely afford $1.50 for thread. Now that same ball of thread is probably like $5 or $6. And I'm thinking where I was staying too in California, the place I was paying for rent was $450 a month. It was going up to $550 a month right before we moved on base. And then, but we still had to pay utilities too. And then he was required to have a telephone so his chain of command could call him. So there was all these extra things that we had to have. So we literally $450. His pay was about $800 a month. $450 was our rent. So you see how much we've been spending way more than what he made. $450 was our rent. Then we had utilities, which was maybe $75. And then we had a phone bill, which was maybe $50. I think we got maybe $300 for family allowance. That didn't leave much money left over. And he did tell me, he kept telling me, he says, well, they're saying that you shouldn't come out here to California because it's really expensive, which I kept hearing that it was expensive. But the thing is, it's like, I felt like, you know what I felt like? I was going to just get lost. I think most women feel that way in marriage now. I was living with his parents. Yeah, that was free. But I felt like I was getting lost. It's like, so I'm just there with his parents. And so I'm nothing. I don't ever get a life to live on my own. That's what I was feeling like. And plus I wasn't around any other people. I wanted to be around a little bit of socialization and stuff. Now what I have right now is not socialization at all. It's just not. So women completely get lost. Completely get lost. We just as well be, I don't even know what the word is I'm looking for. We just as well move to a big hole in a big hole someplace, like in a Fred Flintstone place, and live in a hole and wait for the water to come in and fill us and get rid of all of us. It's just, I just feel like I'm living back in 3,000 years ago in a place of like, where we go back in time and, it sounds like that what is it that, the oh, I hate to use the wrong word. I just call it the Flintstone days. The cave days. Back in the cave days. I feel like we're living in the cave days, and I just, I really do. I feel like we're living in the cave days. But I was thinking in the cave days, though, they didn't have any money really back then. But the biblical times, it's like between the Bible and Congress, it's like, oh my God. It's like, oh my God. Between church and Congress, it's like, I'm going to come up with a word. I'm not sure what the word is. It's like they're a bunch of ignoramus. They're a bunch of ignoramus. I don't know what else to call them. Ignoramus. I really don't. What time is? Oh my gosh, it's after midnight. I guess if they were going to have their government shut down, it must be shut down. Maybe, I don't know. I don't care. Because what good does it do? What good does it do to shut the government down? They're just doing theatrics, and they're not going to do anything that helps any of us. If we have to rely on voting, if we have to rely on voting, I think God will come down and perform some stunt before voting actually helps us. God is going to appear first before voting actually helps us. Voting does not work. Now, I've heard some men say, they've said, oh my gosh, we love how our country works for us. And it's like, really? Are you serious? You can't be serious because it doesn't work. It's not working. I don't know what's working for you. It's not working for me. It's not helping any of us. Inflation does not help anybody. It just doesn't. I mean, you just have more and more and more homeless people. Now, where do homeless people piss and shit at if they have to live in a church parking lot in a car? Can you tell me that? Or at a Walmart? Where do they piss and shit at? Because a lot of Walmarts are not 24 hours anymore. I think Walmart is closing their doors. They may not be as 24 hours what they used to be. And I don't know if hospitals have security. I know that was something in the past. They always said with the RV people and the RV life and all that stuff, they could go camp in a hospital parking lot and then they would have access to a bathroom. Yeah, they wouldn't have a shower or anything like that, but at least they'd have a bathroom to go into at night. Where are people supposed to go? That's what I'd like to know. And we have a bunch of deadbeat Republicans and Democrats, The parties are a monopoly. The GOP is a monopoly. Congress is a monopoly. The CEOs are a monopoly. People are pissed off at companies. They really are. It's just that their CEOs aren't listening to them. So when you see people pissed off at Congress, they're pissed off at a company too. I guarantee it. They're pissed off at a company too. Now me, I don't ever plan on becoming a politician or probably ever getting a job again in my life. So I'm just saying what I want to say because I really don't give a flying fuck. When I've been met with face to face with death, having to be married to a shitty ass fucking husband who is physically abusive to me, I really don't care. And I have to stop saying stuff right now because I have to censor myself because what I really want to say is probably going to get will probably get me censored off YouTube. But I have things I really would like to say, but I'll probably get censored for saying it. So I have to not say it. But I do have things I'd really like to say. Now, there's been some men who have actually said it for me. They've said it for me. So they said it outside. They didn't care if cameras were around and stuff, but they said it outside. I think they were police officers too. Oh my gosh, I love the police officers who say stuff like that. It's like, well, this is how we feel about men like your husband. It was kind of nice. They were big old boys too. Old and big. Big old boys and old. It's kind of nice to hear that. That there are men who would actually help women who are strangers that they don't know. And not just abandon us. That's probably why I wouldn't be, uh, that's why the military likes young kids who haven't been soured on life yet. Because if they put in adults who have been soured on life back in the military, you just don't know what you're going to get there. But yet they do have soldiers who they keep in there who have been soured on life, and I'm really surprised they don't take into account that. That's probably why they always said that they didn't want to tell their chain of command about how they feel, and then they'd get kicked out of the military, because if they have to go back to war again, then they do the revenge fuck on some foreigner. Hurt. Makes sense. You guys have done it. You know it happens. Like, you give them those powerful hunks of metal, they're pissed off. You send them back to war again. No wonder they do what they do. I mean, and I'm not saying that raping women is nice, you know. I mean, it's not very nice for soldiers to rape women. Now, is it? Oh, it almost looks like an etching now. I like that. I'm kind of glad I colored the background in. She looks just a little bit more evil than what she did when I started. I think it's perfect. All right. Yeah, we're going to do photo to video and see what we can come up with. I'll be curious to see what I get for my short out of this one. It's kind of fun to see what AI comes up with my short when they do the little clip. It's kind of fun. I never know what I'm going to say. And it, oh my gosh, one of them did something really, really good with one of them. What was, oh, I know what it was, one that I just made public today. The shorts from, you know, sometimes I have to find my short to match it with my long video. But it was the one when I was talking about, when I said it's a lose-lose situation related to, do I censor things? You know, the spam and some of that music and stuff. Do I censor it or do I keep it? But either way, I get called a certain thing. And that was one of the shorts that came, that was one of the things that came up on my video. And it's like, well, it's a legitimate thing, and it's a legitimate problem that's been taking place when they're doing the promotions on YouTube. And you have these people who are incentivized to go around and do all that stuff on all the different channels, even though they have nothing to do with that specific niche. It's like, so you start getting certain words on the comment section. Oh, wait a minute. That's why we can actually, I guess if I start having that problem, then I might have to go into the non-permitted words, and then they wouldn't show up. Yeah, I still have that too, if that becomes a problem. I kind of forgot about that. that I can automatically censor words if that ever becomes a problem. I do have that ability to do that. Um, and that I will utilize if need be, you know. I mean, because the promotions people get terrible at times. If you're someone who has a great big YouTube channel, that's all I saw with them, is that they just want to use the biggest YouTube channels they can find to promote things on them. And they start thinking of it as their YouTube channel. It's like, okay, we've got a great big channel that has millions and millions of people on it, and we're going to write all this stuff on it and hope that it helps with whatever it is they're doing. Which I always thought that's funny. I mean, I can use my own YouTube channel to promote things, I think. I think I can. But you know what? Actually, I don't think I can, because I left a comment on... I'm actually censored even on my own YouTube channel. I left a comment on one of my videos. Actually, I left 3 comments. That's what I did, was 3. And it took like 3 days for 2 of my comments to show up. It took 3 days. And it's like, well, what's with that? I can't leave comments on my own videos? That doesn't make any sense. And then it takes them that long to show up on my... I can't promote on my own videos? That makes no sense. Why I can't do that. It's like, it's my channel. I should be able to promote stuff on my own videos. Why can't I promote on my own videos? I should be able to. Anyway, well, thank you guys for watching, even though I'm a little bit grumpy at times. I'm just like the rest of the people on YouTube, being grumpy. I mean, nothing's changed. I don't like to be someone else's. I'm mostly pissed off at my ex-husband. And I'm pissed off that I don't have the means to be able to afford to do things that I want to do. So it's like everything is out of my control right now, which is where I've gone down that direction of calling the leadership of this country a dictatorship. Capitalism is a dictatorship. That just goes without saying. CEOs are a dictatorship. And it's like when you have companies like, and I know I'm using the Google platform. Facebook is a dictatorship. We can say the same thing for Google. We have to. It's just like I've said the same thing about cable TV. It's a dictatorship. None of us could get on cable TV. So then the internet comes along, and they want to do the same thing on the internet. Same thing they did on cable TV. And take away our voices. Money becomes a manipulation. When you have money that's taken away from people, doesn't that violate the First Amendment in some ways? You need money to survive. And then it's like, well, then there's people, it's like, I have mixed feelings about saying things that I do related to sick kids. I sit there and listen to it sometimes too much. And they were talking about that in the president's briefing today. He said the one little girl spoke so eloquently. And she said that she was a trained theater actress and she'd done several cancer commercials. So there's a great possibility that maybe the little girl doesn't even have cancer, but she's very well spoken. And so, if that's what you're going to do for a commercial, then that's how they become very well spoken, is they're technically she's telling a lie saying that she has cancer. She probably doesn't. She's a little girl that's paid to be on a commercial and do 4 or 5 different commercials, which is what she said, that she was on these commercials. And so why would I want to feel sorry for a little girl who is on a commercial and she got paid, or her parents got paid for her to be on the commercial? I mean, I have mixed feelings about it because everybody gets mad when I say, well, okay, so you have kids who have medical, why should kids have more rights than I do? Isn't it fair to ask that question? I have to ask that question because it's like when I was younger, I had kids. So my kids have more of a right to have medical than I do, as me as a mother raising my kids. That's how it was. That's how it still is. Well, how is that equality? I have a right to ask this question. How is it equality for welfare people to have medical more so than me? How is it equality for military to have medical more so than me? Well, active duty. Now, we have to separate. Yeah, I know they said the veterans are not taken care of. They're not. Because some of them are short term and they're not taken care of. Well, I can say that. It's like, well, yeah, but okay, we get them taken care of, but I'm not taken care of, right? I'm not anti-veteran. I know a lot of people might think that, but I'm not. I've never have been. Um, because I like our military actually a lot. I always have. Especially the United States Army. I kind of have a soft spot for the Army. And I've always said too, it's like if they ever decided to, oh, this is something that future people need to remember. Women need to ask this too. Why is there an age limit of 40 to join the military? Why is there a fitness limit to join the military? How is that equality? I want you guys to ask these questions in the future. So people need a job. Now the president was talking about that today. He says, "Oh my gosh, we've got more people joining the military than ever." Well, you think? That's because of inflation and they don't have a place to live. I tried to join the military when my marriage was going bad. I applied to the United States Army and they're like, "Oh, well, you're too old." That's what they told me, "You're too old," which I knew that, but I thought, why not give it a try anyway? Well, then there's a commercial on TV, and someone said they enlisted their 70-year-old dad into the military. So I guess he must have needed medical care. So the guy went on ahead, enlisted his dad into the military, who's 70 years old, and he needs to be taken care of. He needs to have a place to live. And so they enlisted this guy into the military, 70 years old. I like that a lot better now. All right, I think I'm done. I should go to bed. I really should. I don't want to, but I should. I need to. really want to make her eyes just a little bit darker in here. I don't know if I can do that or not. Just a little bit darker. Can we get you in here a little bit darker? Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah. There we go. There, she's beautiful. Alrighty. Alright, I think I'm done. I don't know how many times am I going to say that. I think I'm done, and then I keep blabbing. How many times am I going to say that? I'm not the only one who does that. There's a lot of YouTubers that way too. I know why. Yeah, a lot of people who... It's our only connection. Alrighty. I'm going to have to think of something to draw later. Either later on today or... Yeah, we're in a new day now.